So guys, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how we just bought a £3 million property that is rental producing over £750,000. It is an insane property, an insane yield. So let's go through and do a deep dive into the strategy behind this property, the reasons behind buying it, and who on earth is the tenant that is paying £750,000 per annum. The property that I purchased was in Royal Leamington Spa. This is very close to Coventry and also Northampton. If you're looking at a map, it's sort of positioned in the middle. You have Coventry up here and you've got Northampton on the far side. The location in Royal Leamington Spa is on the high street. This is a great location for our tenants. The tenant that I have in this £3 million property is H&M. H&M is a great tenant to have. They pay on time and they pay good. So the tenant H&M have over 4,000 stores around the globe in over 75 countries with over 100,000 employees. This is a tenant that I wanted and it is absolutely amazing. These opportunities do not come around often and it's a big thanks to Tab. Tab have the connections, Tab have these property opportunities and are able to put these properties in the position for us to be able to invest in. So I suppose the question that you're probably asking is how on earth are we yielding over 24% per annum? Let's go and have a look at the investment case so you can see all of the numbers behind this property deal. So as you can see here, it is presented in an investment case within Tab. For everyone that doesn't know, I am the head of investor relations at Tab, so I work directly behind all of these awesome opportunities in the raising. This opportunity is gone, it is full. There is no way that you can get into this. However, I pinned in the comments a waiting list if you want to join in on the next Tab property with an awesome opportunity like this, then make sure you fill it in. Let's discuss this a little bit more detail. So the property is over £3 million. What we've done is we have raised an investment of £1,390,000. The rest is with senior debt or a long-term mortgage provider, if you want to call it that, to purchase this property. Now you can see here the attractive initial net yield is 24.49%. This is until the lease expires in the back end of March 2026. Now, what does that mean? There is part risk there that H&M won't go and renew. However, we've already had initial discussions with H&M and they do plan on staying. That is an important factor in this, and we do not expect them in March 26 to renew at 24.5% per annum yield. Definitely not. The retail space over the last 10 years has completely changed to where we are now. That is why they're paying above and beyond the odds. Whereas now, when they look to renew, that will be in heavy negotiation, but hopefully between the 8 to 10% yield from March 26 onwards. However, in the meantime, we get to enjoy 24.5% per annum getting paid. So overall from this, we're just looking at around 50% yield over the 24-month period, just under that. So this is an incredible yield to have with an incredible tenant. And then after that phase, it will then be renewed and we'll renew that lease. And hopefully that net yield will be around 8 to 10%. Fingers crossed. And as you can see here, the rent that we're collecting to expiry on the current lease is over £1,050,000. Honestly, this is a lump of a property, over 40,000 square foot. Now, ultimately, the best part about this is anyone can get involved in this opportunity, which is one of the things that I loved about Tab and why I got involved, because I was doing a number of investments with Tab anyway. But 24.5% per annum is not to be sniffed at. So the interesting thing about this property, we have put it down at a 24-month term, as in we're purchasing it, we're enjoying all of this high rental income from H&M, and then we're going to either look to sell it in 2 years or, more importantly, relist it back on the platform for those that want to be in a property yielding 8 to 10% with a long-term lease signed. So you can see the nitty-gritty details here. You can see 24.49% net yield with a projected return of over 47% within 2 years. Honestly, trying to get these yields anywhere else, especially an asset-backed investment yield of 47%, is really hard. And this is completely hands-off. This is why I liked it. It's a great opportunity. So you can see here the purchase price is £3 million, all the costs wrapped up there, the listing fee within the platform, and the total purchase cost. You can see our debt, our equity, and then you can see the rental yield of everything that we're getting through the door. And obviously a net annual income of 340,000 minus all of our costings and everything else from an investment of just under 1.4 million is fantastic. So let's talk strategy. What is the important factors here? What is the strategy play? Why have we done this? And where is the opportunity? Well, number one, we're looking to renew H&M, have that strong covenant on the property. They do not require the upper floors, and that gives us a value add opportunity. So we can either look to convert those upper floors into office space or put planning permission in to convert that to either hotel or student accommodation. The best part about this as well is that we have time on our side. We have that tenant all the way guaranteed up until March 26, allowing for us to put any planning permissions that we need to put in place before then. And then finally, once we've done that, we'll look to sell the property. We'll have ground and first floor on a new lease being renewed, which adds a good strength to selling the property. And then we'll also have planning in place for the upper floors or potentially a new tenant taking that for an office space. So let's talk what is our upside. Our upside is we're buying this property at discount. We are getting high rent. That is not to be disregarded. We have got a huge amount of rent. The investment is also pension eligible, which is fantastic for us from an investment point of view. And then we plan on overall improving the value add on this property by utilizing the upper floors that are not going to be needed by H&M in the new lease renewal. That allows us to add potentially a second tenant or also obtain new planning permissions for potentially a residential or student accommodation, really boosting the property's value. So overall, what have I done with this property myself? I've invested £200,000 into this property. I mean, overall, the entire property is producing over £750,000 per annum in rent. I wanted to be involved in that, putting £200,000 into this property, achieving a 24.5% per annum return, which is literally getting managed by Tab, not by me, which is fantastic. And most importantly, I get paid on the 13th of every single month going forward until that tenancy expires in March 26. Depending on what the new lease is renewed at and what rate that is, I would then be looking to earn that as well, or potentially have sold and exited at that point at the end of the 2-year term. So I'm super excited about this. Overall, I'm looking at getting just under 50% return by having H&M as my tenant. I literally cannot complain about this, and it's a fantastic investment. So many of my weekly students got involved in this property and are invested in this, and they're also getting that, and they have invested from as little as £1,000 upwards. So you've missed out on this opportunity. You could have been making nearly 50% yield over 2 years. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video and you don't want to miss out on the next property opportunity that we're working on, then make sure you join my waiting list. It's pinned in the comments and it's also in the description, and we can take full advantage of that, and you could be joining me in the next venture, whether we are achieving 10% yield per annum or 24.5% just like this one in Royal Leamington Spa.